Hi class, in this lecture we will be trying to derive exponential smoothing model's mathematical proof and the properties that are associated with it. So let me just erase this next. So we are dealing with exponential smoothing model. So the two properties that a model is supposed to have is that it considers all the values and progressively assigns weight. So progressively assigning weight means that assigning the weights in a dynamic fashion, that more recent values are usually assigned higher weights and the older values are assigned lower weights. So now we will see how the exponential smoothing model basically satisfies both the properties. So this is our formula. Ft plus 1 is alpha, demand of at time t, plus 1 minus alpha, forecast at the time period t. Right? So in this we have 6 demands, demand 1 to 6. So we derive this formula that F7 is equal to alpha d6 plus 1 minus alpha F6, right? So put t equal to 6 here because we have the value for demand 6 and not 7. So I put t equal to 6 here. So forecast of 7 is equal to alpha of d6 plus 1 minus alpha f of 6. Now if you can see, this formula is a recursive formula, right? So this formula is defined in terms of its own self. So ft plus 1 is a function of dt plus ft itself, right? So I can use ft to rewrite this formula. So what I will do is like, so I am changing the color. So what will be f6 here? So basically that means t plus 1 is equal to 6. So t will be equal to 5. So this will be alpha d5 plus 1 minus alpha f5. I hope this point is clear. So I just use f6 and I derived from this particular, if this is f6, this will be alpha d5 because it is t plus 1 and I am reducing this value by 1. So this becomes alpha d5 plus 1 minus alpha f5. So now let me just expand this. So what this will become alpha d6. So I expand the bracket and rearrange. So 1 minus alpha will be squared here and I get f5, right? So now you let's see alpha d6. So this is continuing for f7 only. Alpha d6, alpha into 1 minus alpha d5, right? And then 1 minus alpha square f of 5. Yeah? Now again I can expand this particular term. So this will become alpha d6 and for convenience I am just changing the coloring. So this will become alpha into d4 plus 1 minus alpha into f4. Fine. So now again I will expand this particular term. So what will become? F7 will be equal to d6. So alpha into this, rearranging, 1 minus alpha square d4 plus 1 minus alpha cube f4. Fine. I hope it is clear till now. Similarly, on similar expansion, this expression will give me in the end a figure like this. Alpha is this. So alpha into 1 minus alpha and is this. Okay. So f7 eventually will come out as alpha d6. So 1 minus alpha gets to d5. Right? expanding and writing in the next line alpha into 1 minus alpha demand 1 plus what was the last term that remains is 1 minus alpha raised to 6 f of 1, right? So if you just keep on expanding this bracket, you will be left out with an expression that says f7 is equal to alpha d6 alpha into 1 minus alpha d5 alpha into 1 minus alpha d square d4 and so on, and finally you will have 1 minus alpha raised to 6 of f1. So if you remember the previous videos, I iteratively calculated each and every value of f1, d1 and then computed f7. So you can see this is a combined formula for computing f7. So it has all the terms d6, d5, d4, dt, d2, d1 and also f1. Now we will just have a look. So now if you see, we have all the terms from d6 to d1. So from d1 to d6 everything is considered. Fine. So considering all the values, this point is satisfied by the exponential smoothing models. And now we will see the progressively assigned weight. Remember what was our last example's alpha? Alpha was a value of 0.2. Right? Alpha was of a value 0.2. So then 1 minus alpha basically became 0.8. Okay. Now see, there are various components to the value of alpha. Right? So if you just see the simple formula, now just see the significance of the values of alpha. So now let us see, you keep alpha as 0. So what will happen? Alpha will become 0, so this terms will cancel out and basically the next forecast will be equal to the current forecast. So what will happen? So this will be ft plus 1. So alpha is 0, 0 into dt. Right? So that will become 0 and this is 0. So this ft plus 1 will become ft. Right? So the next forecast is equal to the current forecast. This is not what we want. Right? This becomes like a static model, f equal to a without the epsilon. So we cannot keep alpha as 0. Right? Now let us take the other way around. Now what if you keep alpha is equal to 1? When you keep alpha equal to 1, basically this term reduces to 0. Right? Because 1 minus 1 is 0. So f of t plus 1 is equal to demand of t. Right? Again, so the current demand will be equal to the future one. So this becomes a static value, right? Because the demand value is constant. So again, this model is not desirable. So we cancel this also. Now what is alpha is less than 0? So negative value. When alpha is less than 0, what happens here is that when alpha is less than 0, so you can see this particular term will become negative and 1 minus of negative alpha will become a very high term, right? Because 1 minus of minus will become, so this will be like f of t is equal to negative of dt plus 1 minus of alpha f of t. So this will be equal to minus dt and 1 plus alpha ft. Right? Now again we do not want this. We want that both the demand and the forecasted value should contribute to this. We do not want a negative forecasting, because many types of forecasting, for example the number of mobile units or all those things, we do not want a negative value contribution. We try to keep this as a positive values. Right? So less than equal to 0 is also not a good value. Now take if alpha is greater than 0. So when this is greater than 0, what it will become? Oh sorry, this is ft plus 1. Okay. So ft plus 1 is equal to alpha into dt plus 1 minus alpha ft. So when alpha is greater than 0, you can see that this term will basically become negative. So greater than 1. I'm sorry. If alpha is greater than 1, so 1 minus anything which is greater than 1 is a negative value. So then this factor will contribute to the negative, right, which we do not know. So now you saw why we cannot keep alpha as 0, 1, less than 0 or greater than 1. So what is the range that remains to us is, so we should have alpha greater than 0 and less than 1. I hope till this point it is clear. Right, so I will stop this video and I will continue for the next part of the video.